What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Game Changers. I'm your host, founder, your boy, Jalen Tart, along with my guys, Joe and Chaz. So, fellas, we got a lot of sports and a lot of drama to unpack. So, first things first, fellas, Draymond Green. Everybody is talking about Draymond Green this week. Earlier this week, he has came out. It's a lot of speculation with Andre Drummond. With the Cleveland Cavaliers, them not playing too well. So the Cleveland Cavaliers are moving on from Andre Drummond, and they're putting Jared Allen in the position to start for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Draymond Green comes out with comments, and he's basically saying that it's a double standard of the team management benching players for them wanting out of certain teams to go elsewhere. So, fellas, do y'all agree with what he has said based upon what Draymond Green said in the press conference on Monday early this week? Joe, you can start it off.
I mean, I do agree because, I just don't think it's fair for players like Andre Drummond. He's still a good player. He can produce for good teams and even bad teams. But I agree with Draymond because, it's not just Andre Drummond that they doing this to. They did this to I can't remember his name, but it was about a couple years ago that they did this to the same situation, and then they're doing it to Blake Griffin in Detroit. It's really not fair to the players. AD got fined, like he said in his comments. AD got fined by $100,000 because he announced publicly that he was demanding a trade. But you can go on the public. The organization can go on public and say, okay, we're going to sit Andre Drummond and we're going to look to trade him. That's just not fair. The same respect that the players send to the organization, that's the same respect that the organization can send out to the players. And that's just my take on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think when you look at the comments that he made and just how fired up he was about it, he was genuinely upset for other players. And I think he made a lot of good points. Teams should have more respect for their players when you tell someone to basically not suit up for the game and to come back in street clothes. At least at that point, let them go home. What is their point in being there? You're gonna announce that you're basically trading them, getting rid of them. But if they were to say that and announce a trade, their reputation gets dragged through the mud, and they're a cancer, or they can't fit with the team because they don't want to be there. I think there's a big double standard, and I agree with what he has to say. I think he made a lot of great points because it goes down to just respecting your players. People are going to want to play for people that respect them, just like they'll respect the team and the organization. Keep that under wraps. Keep it private. Keep trade rumors private, because I guarantee you, if teams would do it, then more players would do it too. If a player announces they want to be traded, they should do it within the organization, just like the organization should do the same. So I agree. I think you made a lot of great points, and I think it's important that people speak up for that.
So both of y'all made good points with what y'all had to say. The main thing though, this man is healthy and he's a basketball player, a professional basketball player. So I don't understand why they would sit him down versus all these other situations where we got James Harden, who ultimately wanted out of Houston. He came out and said that he wanted to come out of Houston, but he's deciding to play. You also have Kawhi Leonard in the Spurs. I remember that was a few years ago. Jimmy Butler in the Timberwolves saying that he didn't like playing with the young players in Minnesota. He wanted out. Anthony Davis being fine. And recently Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets with his whole mental issues that he had going on. It just bothers me to see how the white owners, not trying to be racial here, but the owners who are majority white treat these predominantly black players in such a way. You're paying these players to play for your organization. So for you to sit them down, it doesn't make any sense to me. I just don't see it, because the point of the player is to win a championship. That's the point. So it's like they're not hindering them to win the championship. I mean, yes, Andre Drummond. I personally don't believe Jared Allen is better than Andre Drummond, because at the beginning of the season, Andre Drummond was playing spectacular basketball for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, it's trade rumors that he is going to the Raptors. If he does go to the Raptors, they will be contendership for the East. This will make them better, because now you will have Pascal Siakam along with Fred VanVleet, who is playing spectacular basketball, and the veteran Kyle Lowry. That's not bad, because that's basically a huge upgrade for you losing what's the name? Yes, Marc Gasol, and you're losing guys, what's the he's at the Serge Ibaka. That's the name. Serge
Ibaka, yeah.
And Serge Ibaka.
Yeah.
That's a huge upgrade. But you know, it's not just the NBA, but it's also the NFL. There's not. It needs to be more black owners and to control the black players, because if you have the black owners in these positions to not leak the information out, that situation would have never came out. It would have been private. Yes, I agree with the private, but the owners be putting these players in positions to where they cannot defend themselves by leaking the information out to us as viewers and as fans to say, okay, this isn't right. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. I don't know why they do this to the players. Where they're making a living off of playing sports for, they're just making money, doing what they love to do. And for you to put them in a situation like this, it's just crazy to me.
It's definitely crazy. And it reflects back on the lack of respect to the players. Like, it just, like you said, it's crazy how they can go publicly. I mean, Andre Drummond probably wanted that privately himself.
Right.
But it's so crazy that an organization can be disrespectful and put it back and take the information, put it out public. And now we're like, why? I mean, Andre Drummond is a dominant player. He can put up about 20 points to 15 rebounds a game. He can do it night in and night out. But just you, and like you said, he's healthy. But just you coming out publicly saying, okay, we're going to sit Draymond Green out. We're going to start Jared Allen, who is younger, and he's talented too. Don't get me wrong, who is, young and talented. And we're going to sit this dominant big man who's healthy just because, stuff. Yeah. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair.
So the thing I took from what Draymond said, because when James Harden asked for a trade and essentially dodged it, no one is going to fight back that James Harden was dodging it in his last days in Houston. But he was castrated for wanting to go to a different team. Everybody destroyed that man. That's a good point, because we was like, this man is crazy. Like, he wants out of Houston so bad because you had Dwight Howard, you had Chris Paul, and you had Russ. None of those three worked. After the CP3 connection did not work, he should have been left. Me personally, he should have been left. Because, I mean, I think it was a waste of time for Russ to go to Houston when he knew that wasn't the right place to go. And then he said, the team can come out and say, oh, we want to trade a guy, and then that guy has to go sit, and if he doesn't say professional, then he's a cancer, and he's not good in someone's locker room, and he's the issue. He said it perfectly. He said it simple. I can't argue with the man.
I agree.
He's right.
I think another big thing to look at too, it's two different things. You look at it, you can like separate it into two parts. They announced they want to trade him, but then they bench him. And I think the second part is another thing you can look at like even deeper, because it goes beyond like if a player announces they want to be traded, but they keep playing for the team until they get traded, it's almost like no harm, no foul, because like you're still performing for the team you're playing for. But like, so like, it's like if a team announces they're looking to trade someone, I feel like they should at least get to play. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I think that's another. You know what I mean? When you look
Yeah.
at it, you should be able to play even through that, just like players can announce it and vice versa. Which is why that's the problem I have too. That you're just gonna like bench a player, you're gonna announce you're getting rid of them and then bench them. I think that it just goes too far. You know, like it is kind of it's a really weird double standard in the
Right.
league.
And and when we look back on it, this is a bad move from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Essentially, you're sending this man to a championship contender team.
Yeah.
It would have been okay if you would have send them to Minnesota, where you don't have nobody. You got Cat and you got Minnesota. This is hypothetically speaking. You send them to Minnesota with Anthony Edwards, D'Lo, and Cat, Karl Anthony Towns. They're not playing good basketball right now. We all know that. But you're sending them to Toronto. I think Andre, if they do win a championship, Andre Drummond will look at the Cleveland Cavaliers and just laugh in their face. And I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, one last thing. Yeah. I feel like Andre Drummond's been one of those players that like has consistently been good and put up the numbers, but he's been stuck in that like no man's land of just being on consistently awful teams, which is why this is interesting too, you know, because he might be thanking Cleveland after this. You know, you get rid of him, I'd be like, all right, I want to leave Cleveland too. Put me on a good team and watch me ball, because I feel like he's consistently put up the numbers and just been stuck in that like no man's land of just being on horrible teams. So I think it'll be interesting. I think he's a great player. I think he'll do great things wherever he plays, he would put up numbers, you know?
Exactly.
So, fellas, we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna go to the Lakers real quick. So, you know, Anthony Davis has been battling his Achilles tendonitis, whatever you call it, and he re-aggravated the injury last weekend. So, and then the league ruled him out for 2 to 4 weeks after the All-Star break. So, with this injury, do you think that the Lakers' title chances has slimmed down? And who should step up for the Lakers while AD is gone? Chaz, go ahead.
I don't think it slows him down at all. And the reason why I say this is because after looking further into the injury, they kind of saw that it wasn't as serious. They kind of caught a lucky break with it not being like a complete like tear or something of that kind of sort. So no, I don't think it stops him at all. I don't think it slims him down. And you got to look at it, and there's a silver lining in this, in the sense that a lot of players are going to get opportunities to get minutes right now, and minutes matter when you look at the depth of a team making a postseason run. The Lakers did build on their depth in the offseason last year, and so when you look at players like Kyle Kuzma is the guy I think needs to step up, and I think this is extremely valuable for him because he came into the league and he looked good. He was putting up points as a young player, and I think with LeBron and AD coming in, it kind of slowed it down because obviously you take a backseat to LeBron and AD. So I think with Anthony Davis out, I think Kyle Kuzma could develop and learn a lot from these minutes that he'll get. It's a huge opportunity for him. I think the potential is there as a player. And if he takes advantage of this and the rest of the bench takes advantage of this, they'll be more primed for a postseason run than they were before because they'll have more minutes under their belt. So I don't think it slows it down at all, unless obviously there's a bigger injury unless he gets hurt like really badly. I don't think it stops him at all. I say they rest him for a while, everything will be cool.
Yeah, that was a good take, but I'm just gonna say this: if his injury like was like serious, I thank God it's not. But if his injury was like so serious, I think that would have messed up their chances, because let's just say that it was the postseason. We know what LeBron is capable of in the postseason. You know, he carried the 2018 Cavaliers by himself to the playoffs. But the reason why I said that it kind of will slow them down is because in the postseason, I just can't see LeBron doing it by himself like that, because all of his title runs, he had like a big help. Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. Um, Cavaliers with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, and the one last year with AD. So if AD injury was so serious, that would have messed up their title run, and you can go ahead and give the championship to the Nets. Because, like I said, LeBron really can't do it by himself in the postseason like that. He can carry the team to the NBA Finals, but he won't win like the whole finals by itself, in my opinion. That's just my take on it.
So I've been back and forth on this. One part of me is telling me don't worry about it because you have the greatest player on earth right now, LeBron James, in your corner. But the other side to it, it can't just be the Lone Ranger by himself. You got to have a Batman and a Robin. So I'm pretty worried about the Lakers, not in the regular season because we know they're going to make the postseason. But in the playoffs, I'm worried about him. Because there are more teams that are armed and dangerous to take you out in the postseason. Denver, Utah, Portland, Phoenix. The 4 teams that can take you out. Let me just say this. All 4 of those teams have backcourts and they have well-oiled benches that can score. The one player that I need to show up is Montrezl Harrell. That's the one player I need to show up because he has that dog, he has that killer instinct, and he just goes at it in the paint. I need him to show up. Yet they will start Kyle Kuzma over Montrezl, but Montrezl needs to be that 6th man going forward. And that's my take on that.
Oh yeah. And before we move on, my opinion, I think Marc Gasol will have to step up. Marc Gasol has been in a slump. I mean, he just haven't been playing good basketball. But one team that you did left out, Jalen,
he has.
What's the
okay. Not
go ahead.
Not scoring wise, but getting other people involved in the game, getting them going. Yes, he has been making an impact for the Lakers. But scoring wise, I would have to agree with you there. But go ahead.
And a team you left out was the LA Clippers, because when you in postseason, we know how Paul George is, but they can take them out if Paul George won't be in a slump, I believe, because of that defense that the LA Clippers have. You know, you have Kawhi, Paul George, Pat Beverly, Serge Ibaka.
Nick Batum is the X factor for them. If he continues to play like how he played against the Nets last week, yes, they could potentially go all the way. But I don't know. I just don't know. I after what I saw last year with Paul George, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree, because he still haven't shown us like we can depend on him in a playoff, because like he just plays awful in postseason for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if that's everybody done with that, we can move on to the quick pitch. So we're gonna start it off with Chaz. So Chaz, where should JJ Watt go now that he's a free agent, and why should he go to that team?
He should go to the Cleveland Browns for a couple reasons. You get to team up with Myles Garrett. You get a loaded Super Bowl ready roster. They have the cap space for him. The culture is there. They have developed so much from being the bottom of the NFL, and they can afford it too. Because when you look at, I was looking at the Steelers, teaming up with TJ Watt and that team, but they can't afford it. Green Bay can't afford it either. And the only other team I would say other than the Browns would be the Bucks. But I think going to Cleveland would really shore up their defense. It's already a good defense. I think it would add a lot of firepower, and I think it's the smartest move for him. They can pay him well, and the culture and the winning mindset's there. He's in a position to win there. So Cleveland.
I like that, but I'm gonna have to go with a team that you already said is who is the Green Bay Packers. Even though I know they don't have the money for them, but I believe if they release some guys like Preston Smith, I can't remember, Kevin King maybe, they can like kind of clear up some cap space and sign JJ Watt. I believe Green Bay have the offensive power in Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, Valdez Scantling, Aaron Jones. They they can have like a defensive type of momentum if they add JJ Watt. Like with Jared Alexander, who is one of the most underrated cornerbacks in our league. Um, um, Jadarius Smith, who can help him on the edge. And if you add JJ Watt, then that's an extra pass rusher who can get to the quarterback, but he just has to stay healthy. And I believe if he can stay healthy with Green Bay, and he's from Wisconsin, so that's why I was like, you know what, maybe Green Bay will be a good fit. But if he just stay healthy with Green Bay, I believe they can finally get past the NFC Championship and could go to the Super Bowl.
I got to go with Chaz on this one. I got to go with the Cleveland Browns. You're one piece away from making it to the Super Bowl. If you keep OBJ, you got to keep OBJ. Because if you keep OBJ and you add a defensive piece along with Myles Garrett and draft a skillful linebacker, you're going to the Super Bowl. Just plain and simple. Because if Baker Mayfield can build off of his season that he had with Kevin Stefanski that he did last season, yes, you have a chance. And then you can actually beat your brothers in Pittsburgh because that's the divisional rival right there. So I like the Cleveland Browns.
But hold on, but before we move on, I had to disagree with the when you said they have to keep OBJ. They don't really have to keep OBJ. They was doing very good without OBJ.
Yeah.
I mean, when OBJ was out, Baker Mayfield was still going off. Like he was passing it to Jarvis Landry, who was the number one receiver when OBJ was out, and he got Peoples Jones, who is pretty good. Mm-hmm. You know, he got young pieces. So I personally believe that he don't need OBJ. So that's why they probably going to trade him to somewhere else.
Okay, so Joe, where do you see him going? OBJ.
I mean, a couple of teams that come to mind could be. I mean, I really don't know if Cam stays in New England, I can see him going to New England. I really do. Okay. Because the Patriots just need a true number one wide receiver, and Julian Edelman is not that. Jacob Myers is not that.
N'Keal Harry is not that.
Right.
Yeah. OBJ can be that one piece that New England can help. Like he can have a big impact on that offense with Cam as the quarterback, Julian Edelman back in the slot. That's why I say that OBJ could be a great addition for New England if Cam Newton stays.
I think there's a problem with that though. Cam Newton can't throw the football consistently, but there's one person that can throw the football consistently. There's one person that can throw the football consistently.
Tom Brady.
Lamar Jackson. Jackson. Listen here. We all know that the Baltimore Ravens need a number one receiver. Yes, they do have a tight end, but they need a number one receiver. This will help Lamar Jackson's game go up.
That's why
I don't think they won't trade in the division, though. They won't trade in the division. I can't
see OBJ
no way, Cleveland.
It is with New England, I'm telling you. Because Cam can really throw the ball consistently. It's just that he's been in a slump.
Yes.
So if he just get his confidence back, and if OBJ can go to New England to help out Cam, that offense can be unstoppable. That whole team can be unstoppable if they just add a couple of defensive pieces.
Yeah.
I mean, wait. We talking about for New England, right?
Yeah, for New England.
But
I mean, Baltimore can just draft a wide receiver.
Opted out because of COVID, so they're gonna come back.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Mahomes was out of the year for injuries as well.
I think that's an interesting point though with OBJ going to New England. I think they would definitely get a lot better. I don't know if I'd call them unstoppable, but the thing with OBJ to Baltimore, I don't think they'd trade in the division.
Right.
I don't think they'd let him go in the division, but that's actually an interesting point for another day. Just looking at OBJ because we're a couple years removed from the catch and him being named as best receiver in the league, best upcoming athlete in the league. Max Kellerman talking about the insane talent that he is, and in injuries and performance in general, it's been extremely disappointing in Cleveland. You can't control the injury, but he wasn't playing very good necessarily before that. So if you look at Cleveland and if OBJ can return to any kind of form that he was in New York, I think that's one more reason why they would almost be like kind of a like slightly less talented Kansas City. Very good running backs, very good receivers, and a young quarterback. But I think OBJ is, if he comes back to any form that he can, they're dangerous. I don't think they'd want to trade him at that point. But that's a big question mark. So that's like a question for another day.
Right. It is. But if he does stay and play in Cleveland, yes, they are Super Bowl contenders.
Oh, for sure.
They're Super Bowl contenders. So, fellas, we're gonna leave it off on there. So, the game changer of the week is Saddiq Bey, who plays for the Boston Celtics. Last week, he put up 30 points, and he was 7 for 7 behind the arc. Incredible. And he's a rookie for the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, he played for the Pistons.
He played pretty good. So, thank y'all for joining the podcast. Make sure everyone go follow and like the video, like all the content on the Instagram page at Gamechangers, Game.Changers 2019. And also catch us on One Ray Radio.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate One Ray Radio for the support. And for that, we'll see y'all in the next episode. Y'all take care. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Take care, y'all. Peace.